Welcome back to K&L Farms, and I'm Ken. And instead of trying to explain what I did wrong, here I'm going to cut in the previous video that I did or posted so you can get a better idea of the mistake. So I'm going to cut it in right now. Okay, now you can see it. This is the piece we manufactured. This is the piece that I haven't manufactured yet, but I own. See this LVL? This LVL, double LVL, pre-existing building. Eve board used to have a fascia on it, but I took the fascia off already. I got to cut these LVLs back against this building to get enough clearance for this piece of 4x6 to go across. So I'm going to establish that one. Probably another video. I'll probably show you all of the frame built. And once I get this frame all built, excluding a couple 6x6 risers, excluding those, the rest of it is store-bought and manufactured. It's not sawmill, which I own most of it already. And then we'll start putting some of the knee braces in. Okay, you should be back. Now that you're back, you see that there was a header. I put a header in. I put a 4x6 header in on top right here. You see it on that previous cut-in. But this vent. See, there's a restroom behind this wall, and this vent is the only thing that vents that plumbing. Now also, let me back up. Oh, I got to move this ladder for you. This is where that sewer comes out. That restroom back here, sewer comes out, goes to the main septic field. This is going to have a sink. There's going to be a sink. There's going to be a kitchenette right here with a sink directly over it. P-trap type thing, reduced down into that. So I'm going to have to carry a vent for this P-trap in the sink, and I'm going to carry it up and hook it into that vent, which I have two possibilities in attempting to correct that. First one is we pulled that vent off. We set that 4x6 on top of these 6x6s right here. 6x6, 6x6. So I thought, well, I just drill a hole, reduce that down to 1.5 inches, drill a hole through that 4x6, and then 90 up into the dormer end. Later on there'll be a dormer up here, which I'll explain on the next upcoming video. Or not the next one, but a upcoming video. But that would weaken that 4x6. So if you went to public school like I did and you've got any sense of math whatsoever, 4x6 stands up on its edge on the top of a 6x6. That gives me 2 inches. There's 2 inches behind that 4x6, that main header, or the A header, that I can possibly, now I don't know if I can or not, but I'm going to try and monkey around. And I'm going to try and take a true 90, 1.5 inches 90, 1.5 inches 90 up, and then I'll probably put a T in this overhang area right here, and then when the time comes, there'll be a T in this vent right here with it probably protruding this direction. I'll come out of that, come up with a P-trap into a sink, put a T in, put a vent, and vent up into that vent system I'm going to make, and then from that vent system I'm going to come up with another 90 over. This will be the pitch, the ridge cap on the top. This will be the top of the pitch, and in the world that I live in, snow is a big concern. So you don't want, that's what happened to this one, you don't want your vents or your chimneys on the ends, on the eave end of the building, because all happens is the snow comes off and just rips them in two. So if you put them close to the peak of the roof, then you don't have as much snow build up, and you're less likely to rip off your vents or your chimneys. Now, wood stove I'll explain later on in an upcoming video. But I'm gonna, here in a little bit, I'll get the piece and try and glue that together and see if that in fact will work. And then, because I can't move on, because remember in this Lincoln log set, this one is the next one that has to go in, because this one over here, after I cut this LVL out, this one goes on top of that one, and this one over here, this one over here goes on top of that one also. Okay, so I'm back from town. I went to town. I got, I'll find a piece here, just a minute. But I got a bell reducer and I got a 90, and I was going to try and farm it together, but in fact, thinking that I can only, from the pre-existing wall out, I could make that transition happen in 2 inches. So far, I tried to farm it together, and I cannot. So what I'm trying to achieve is, this is the piece that came out of that wall, the vent piece, and I'm going to try and put a bell reducer on, a short piece of 1.5 inches. I don't know how short, probably only 1 inch long, and then this goes into the wall for the vent, and then make that transition up. And when I did it, I'll show you some of the stuff I did off of video. When I did it, it comes out to be about 3.5 inches. So it's going to actually be a combined deal. I'm going to have to modify this and then notch the back of that. So let me go up. I'll shift the camera around so you can see probably better. I'll probably even move the ladder so you can see better too. And I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, this is the vent hole right here. The board, bat, this is all fur from years ago. And I cut off a piece of that bat board because I'm trying to get that vent as close to the pre-existing wall as I can to go underneath this E part, which I'll work on at a later date. But so then I did that. The other thing I did is that you see that bell reducer is bigger in diameter, which I'll show you. Okay, so bell reducer, to reduce it from the 2 inch down to the 1.5 inches, and the bell reducer wouldn't fit. So I took that hole saw I just had in my hand, and I backed it in there about, I don't know, maybe 1.25 inches. And so what I'm going to do, glue this together, stuff this pipe inside there. I'll glue it. I probably have to dry it off because it's wet now, because it's cold this morning. And then get that started so that I can cut a small chunk of 1.5 inches. Probably glue that 90 on there and then stuff that 90 in here, and then I'll show you how much it protrudes out. And then on another video, probably the next video, I'll notch that 4x6 header to come up here. Now this is the level line with the bottom of this header, so this much needs to be notched out, and this is the center line. Now I'll probably have to notch the corner of that header about 1 inch in, and only the top of it, so it doesn't weaken it as much, is what I'm trying to do. I didn't want to bore a hole right through it to make this vent happen, because that would have weakened it more than I think is allowable. But let me get some glue on here. I'll glue this up real quick and try and get that fitted in there. You get a container of glue whenever you get it even new. Sometimes this lid comes off tight, so got just a standard set of channel locks. Kind of go like that. This is the inboard side. This is towards the building. This is the outboard side. I'll probably glue the. I'm just drying it off a little bit because this doesn't really like water. Water and glue doesn't really mix that much. Okay, put that back in my pocket. And I'll probably try and glue this piece onto this piece and then this piece into there, and then we can carry on. And it protrudes in there about 1 inch. Now remember, I'm not a plumber. It's just, and I'm just trying to get a vent into a couple barns. And then shove it in there, give it a little twist, get it in there straight, give it a little twist. Okay, same thing with the other side, about 1 inch. And yes, it's messy, but I'm not inside the house either. I'm just on the barn now. This might take a little bit to get this to fit in here. Okay, that's in there. Now, I'm going to show you how I cut probably shift, cut off about an inch of that inch and a half, glue it into that 90, and then stick that 90 up the hill. Set the 90 up on top and measure out. Let's go 2 inches, because it should protrude each side about an inch. Each side of the coupler should take about an inch. Take a Sawzall. Cut that off. Okay, so I get a tape measure, but I'm pretty sure that protrudes in there about an inch, maybe 3/4. And I'm going to dry fit it a little bit. That's way too long right now. I can tell that already. So let's cut that back. I'll check that measurement. And I'll cut another piece. Okay, I got that cleaned up. And I only cut this one about 1.25 inches. Put some glue on here. Stuff that in that 90 pipe. Okay. Same here on the other end. There, that's better. Okay, so see how far, I gotta straighten it out a little bit before it seats. See how far that sticks out now? Okay. Get this up in here. Okay, that's pretty tight. That's pretty good. I can work with that. It's just I gotta cut. And I'll get a tape measure, because that looks farther than 3.5 inches, but I'll get a tape measure and do some measuring. Yeah, okay, so it protrudes out from the wall almost 4 inches. And from this level line, yeah, it goes up 6.5. This is the bottom of the header coming up. Goes up, it's up about 6.5 inches, so about 1/2 inch of this is going to protrude above the header when I'm done. But I'm going to have to notch out. I'll have to notch out when I put that header up there. I'll notch that out. In fact, I'll probably lay some of it out, but I don't. Right now, I can't lift the header up on there, and I want this to seat up a little bit, especially since it's cold. So we'll pick this up on the next video. And I'll put this header on and show you that notch that I had to do to notch for that vent.